The Detroit Lions took a huge hit yesterday with the loss of Aidan Hutchinson for the season. And I've been watching, along with the bathing in the tears of Dallas Cowboy fans and content creators, I've been watching a lot of stuff about the Detroit Lions. And it's amazing the type of player that Aidan Hutchinson was. And a lot of experts, people online, feel that the Detroit Lions Super Bowl window is now and that we are not able to win the Super Bowl without a guy like Aidan Hutchinson. And that brings me to the topic of today's video. You can see it from the banner, is what is the Detroit Lions defense without Aidan Hutchinson? That's the question that I posed to you today. And we've been talking about this, and today is a tough day for me. A tough day. And I'll give you my thoughts at the end of this video about why it's so tough. Obviously, Aidan is hurt, but a lot of the joy was kind of zapped from me yesterday about the pass rush. Now, I thought I didn't know how I was going to feel yesterday, and I thought I was going to be pass rush, but with the loss of Aidan is not the same. And because we're going to essentially try to replace his production, we're not going to add to it. And replacing it might be, I agree with the experts, replacing it might be the difference between the Detroit Lions making and winning a Super Bowl and them not. Now, a lot of you guys don't believe that we were a pass rusher away last year. I believe we were, and I still think that we are. Now, we're two. So now you have a situation where the Detroit Lions, are they going to be a team like the New England Patriots of old, where they didn't really have that guy? Or are they going to be like, we can't even be like the Kansas City Chiefs because we lost our Chris Jones yesterday, right? So I'm going to put some stats in front of you, and I want you to tell me, where do you think the Detroit Lions defense is going to be without Hutch? I think we're in trouble. But before I go down there, okay, I think they're in trouble, but I also think there is a bit of a silver lining, if you could look at it that way. And that is, one thing about our team that we know is that these dudes they're about grit, and they're about playing for each other. They're about playing for their coach. And I guarantee you that everybody on that team finished that game for Hutch yesterday. I guarantee you that they're going to finish the season. As a matter of fact, Monty said just as much yesterday. They're going to play every game thinking about the leader of the defense. And at 24 years old, for him to have that title, for him to have that view by his teammates, that's a big deal. But here's what I want to put before you. We're going to look at my favorite stat, which is sacks. Where does the defense, now we're not going to talk, I don't want to talk about Aaron Glenn and overall defense. We're not going to get there just yet, okay? We got multiple videos to make over the course of the week, so we got plenty of time to talk about that. This specifically is going to be about where is the defense going to be without the production of Aidan Hutchinson, all right? So this is the sack leaders for the 2024 season. This is team stats heading into the Monday night game in week 6. All right. Top 5, New York Giants, Denver Broncos, Minnesota Vikings, Baltimore Ravens, Houston Texans. Out of these 5 teams, 3 of them have a winning record in the Baltimore Ravens, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Houston Texans. All right. The next 5, Chicago Bears, New York Jets, Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Washington Commanders. They all had a winning record here, 500, losing record, winning record. So you would say that out of the top 10, there are more winning records than losing or even 500. Green Bay Packers. I don't think I said them. San Francisco 49ers, Detroit Lions, and the Cleveland Browns. So if you're counting with me, the top 5 stops at the Texans. The next one, so it was the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is 11. San Francisco, 12, Cleveland Browns, 13. The Detroit Lions are 14, but it's something I want you to notice. 15 is what they have. So they have 11 less than the sack leading New York Giants, who have a losing record, by the way. Now, here's where it gets good. Where would the Detroit Lions be without the production of Aidan Hutchinson? Well, simple math. Right now, Aidan Hutchinson ends his season with 7.5. 7.5 minus 15 leaves you 7.5. What would the Detroit Lions production be without Aidan Hutchinson? Where would they rank in terms of sacks? Well, let's scroll down and find out. Go all the way down. All the way down. They would be below the Cincinnati Bengals with 8, but above only the Carolina Panthers with 6 and the Atlanta Falcons, who have the worst pass rush in the league. That's why they traded for Judon, and with Judon at 5 sacks on the season. So if you take away Aidan Hutchinson's production, the Detroit Lions would be 30th in the league at getting to the quarterback. Here's something I didn't notice until today. Look who's the 30th in the league. The Cincinnati Bengals. Guess who got 5 of those 8 sacks? A guy that I've had my eye on for the longest period of time, Trey Hendrickson. Got 2 yesterday, gives him 5 on the season. He missed a game. He's only played 5 games, I believe. And he's got 2/3 of the sacks for the Cincinnati Bengals. So that kind of gives me pause of whether or not they'll give him up. I think they still might, but it concerns me a bit. So the question I have for you is, where are the Detroit Lions, where are they going to be without Hutch? Now, I watch ESPN, and the panelists were thinking that Aidan Hutchinson is a Super Bowl caliber, game-changing player. I would agree that without him, the Detroit Lions are not their Super Bowl chances. I'll just tell you what they said. Without Aidan Hutchinson, we can't win the Super Bowl. And I'm going to say that I agree and disagree with that. I agree because, well, let's disagree first. I disagree because we've seen teams with no pass rush superstar win a Super Bowl. All the stars got in line, but the offense has to carry the team. And I think the Detroit Lions have a capable enough defense, even without Hutch. But we're going to see more of that. We're going to see. They did play half a game without Hutch yesterday. But in that case, the offense would have to carry the team. That's just the bottom line. Now, I agree because I strongly believe that defense wins championships. I strongly believe that Aidan Hutchinson, if we would have had a running mate with him last year, we would have won. Those are just my beliefs. I'm not trying to convince you that Josh Reynolds is the reason that we didn't win the game. I mean, you're going to think whatever you think. I think it's a lot of things. I think there's a lot of blame to go around. But even with how poorly Josh played near the end, even with the cute calls that Ben Johnson got away from what was working, even with Aaron Glenn and the defense allowing 17 unanswered points, even with all of that, maybe if we have a Batman or a Robin to his Batman, then we make the Super Bowl. That's what I think. And you guys know this because I've been talking about it since this channel has been a thing. All last year, the meltdown at the trade deadline, that was because that's what I believe. And it looks like the rest of the professionals believe it too, that Aidan Hutchinson is that much of a game changer. And I would have to agree. Without him, the Detroit Lions have 7.5 sacks, which would put them at 30th in the league. And it's kind of fitting that the Cincinnati Bengals are 2-4. They beat the New York Giants yesterday. Okay, and they barely beat them. The offense couldn't score for the Giants. They barely beat them. And they got 8 sacks, and they're at the bottom of the list. I still think there is a shot at Trey if the Bengals are out of it. And that win last night, instead of 1-5, they're now 2-4. And with the AFC North and the way that thing is shaping up, I think it's going to come down to some division games. But we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think, and I'm telling you, man, it's going to be hard for me to make these videos. Even if we trade for somebody, like I thought about it, like all we're doing, if we trade for somebody, we're making a lateral move. If we traded for Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, any one of those guys, we're making a lateral move. I would get excited about that, but I mean, all we're doing is replacing Hutch this year. I mean, now next year, that's a different story. Assuming Hutch can come back as good or better than he was, that's a different story. But I'm talking about this year. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. Next year ain't this year. We in this year now. Our window is now, right? Just like it was last year. So we need to replace his production. We're going to make a lateral move. Just think about it. Hutch has, if I count it correctly, He's got 31 and a half sacks in 2.5 years, including the playoffs. 9.5 in year 1, 11.5 in year 2. That is, what, 20? 21. That's 21, right? 11.5, 9.5. That is that 22? My math is my math correct? 9.5, 11, 21. 21 sacks. 21 sacks. He had 7.5 this season. And he had 3 in the postseason. So 30.5 sacks. That's a lot in 2.5 years. That's a big deal. So anyway, let me know your thoughts, man. I'm kind of bummed. I'm not even gonna lie. The energy is gonna be tough to muster up. I'm not myself. I'm not myself because we need a guy that's gonna replace Hutch this year. If we thought we were winning a Super Bowl with Hutch, can we win it without him? How likely is that? So now we have to replace that production. And I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not sure we can do it. I'm not sure we can make the Super Bowl and win it if we don't replace his production. That's what the numbers say. The numbers are in the favor of you got to get to the quarterback. You got to. The Kansas City Chiefs right now, I don't know if you noticed that. They have 9. They have 9, but these are the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, you got Chris Jones. We don't have a Chris Jones. He's gone. Our Chris Jones is gone. We lost him yesterday. So we don't have a Patrick Mahomes and we don't have a Chris Jones. We got everything else, but we don't got them 2 guys. So it's very somber. I'm not like doom and gloom. It ain't that. It's just, this just happened less than 24 hours ago. So it hurts. It's fresh, and I'm not even, I don't know. It's deeper than football, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think that the experts were right and the Lions are not going to be able to make or win a Super Bowl without a guy of Hutchinson's caliber, his production? And where do you think the defense will be without Hutch? How big of a hit is it going to take? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You can be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.